Hello everyone, it's Friday, so it's time for another Friday read. I have a few books to talk to you about today, so let's just get into it. We can start with the audiobooks. I read 2 audiobooks this week. The first one is Who They Was by Gabriel Krauze. It is a semi-autobiographical book based on the life of Gabriel Krauze growing up in South Kilburn, which is one of the poorest neighborhoods in London. I have already posted a review for this, so I will link for the review down below. And the other book that I just finished as an audiobook is The New Wilderness by Diane Cook, and this one is sort of a survival story of a group of people that decides to move out of a city into the wilderness and try to survive there because the cities are so polluted. It's getting all the children sick and cannot survive there. I am also going to post a review for this at some point. But yeah, I will just say that it was an okay book for me, but I'll talk more about that in my review. And then to physical books, I read, I finished Nervous Conditions by Tsitsi Dangarembga. I was 20 pages from the end last week, so I finished those 20 pages. And this follows a family. It focuses on the daughter, Tambu, but it follows the whole family as Tambu decides to go to school and get educated, and how that affects all of them, because she is a woman, so she's not supposed to be educated over the sons. She decides that she wants to go anyway, so she fundraises that endeavor herself and makes it happen. And this book is about the journey, and overall I thought the topics that it touched about colonialism, about what happens when you're educated in a colonial society, if you follow your roots as an African. I thought that those topics were very interesting, but I found the writing style a bit slow and difficult to get through. It was quite dense for the amount of information that we were given, I felt. So yeah, this was a bit of a middle of the ground for me, not because I thought it was just okay, but because I thought it had some great things, and it had some things that really made it difficult for me to read. But I'm looking forward to continuing the trilogy. So the next book is the Book of Nuts, and I couldn't find it anywhere here, so very kindly Kiran from KD Books sent me his copy. It's on the way, it hasn't arrived yet, but I'm super excited about that, so thank you Kiran, you're the best. Then the next book I finished, it's Rainbirds by Clarissa Goenawan, and this is so this follows a man or a boy in Tokyo. He lives in Tokyo, and he was very close to his sister because their parents were not around a lot, but at some point his sister decides to move to another city and become a teacher there, and then at some point she is murdered and nobody knows what happened. So this book follows the brother going to that city, and when he goes to that city, he's offered the same job that his sister had, and he accepts it for a while he's trying to figure out what happened to his sister. I thought this was going to be like a mystery thriller kind of thing, and even though it had elements of that, it's a much lower book than normally a thriller would be, which I found interesting. I didn't mind, but it is something to take into account. Overall it was okay. I have to say though that it had also some misogynistic tones to it at some point. I found that often in Japanese literature. The author is here it says Indonesian born Singaporean, but it's set in Japan. And I find often that in Japan, the way that authors talk about sex and women like objects is quite prevalent. And even though this is written by a woman, there was still that feel, that almost felt like a man wrote this. So that is something that bothered me. But overall, this was okay. It was interesting. It was a fast read, and I enjoyed it enough. The next one I have is The Inheritance of Loss by Kiran Desai, and this one is about a family in India, and they sent one of their sons to study in America, and it's that contrast again. Similar to Nervous Conditions, it follows what colonialism does to people on the place that is colonized, but also the people that are sort of integrated in the new system and that are trying to make a life outside that traditions of the place. I thought this was very interesting. I found that there were a bit too many characters for me to follow them and have them fleshed out. But I think that the topics it explored very well, and I really liked this book. But maybe not as much as I was hoping for, based on Kiran's review. But yeah, I actually quite like this, and I would like to know what people think about this. So if you have access to this, I would love you to pick it up and make a video recommending or not recommending this, and see what all of us think about it. And then the last book I finished this week, it's Born Sugar by Avni Doshi, and this was part of the long list for the Booker Prize, and I have also filmed a review for this, so I'll link to that review below as well. And I found that one, again, similar to The Inheritance of Loss. It's also about a family in India. In that case, it's a daughter and a mother, and the mother gets Alzheimer's, and it's about the relation of the mother and the daughter while exploring wider topics. And again, I really like that book, but I also thought that there were some flaws with it that I talk more about in my review. So if you're interested, please go check that one out. But yeah, those are all the books that I read this week. What I am currently reading, I am reading Catch and Kill by Ronan Farrow. This won the Pulitzer Prize for nonfiction. It's in the final for nonfiction for the BookTube Prize. So I thought I will pick it up, even though I still have my fiction judging to do. I'm waiting for those books to come through the library. So in the meantime, I thought I will also read the ones in the final nonfiction that I haven't read. So I have this one, and I have Solitary to read. And this one is about Ronan Farrow, who is a journalist and a lawyer that was trying to investigate the sexual harassment that Harvey Weinstein did throughout his career as a producer in Hollywood. And even though I am liking the parts in which Ronan Farrow talks about how he's going around investigating things and finding out things and convincing people to talk, I am also finding that most of the people they're talking about are obviously Hollywood people that I don't know anything about. I'm not very into Hollywood, I'm not into movies. So all of these people are quite unknown to me. And I think you will get a lot more from this book if you are into Hollywood. This is not a book that is going to make you care about things that you didn't care about before. So if you care about Hollywood, this is a brilliant book to read. If you don't care, probably then you will find it a little bit slower going than like I am. But yeah, I have to finish this by tomorrow because it's due to the library and I have about half of the book left. so hopefully I will be able to do that. And the other one that I'm reading right now is Sugibane by Douglas Stuart. That one is also in the long list for the Booker Prize. I'm only like 50 pages into it, so I cannot comment about that one a lot. I have to say though, I don't know if it's a trend or something, but the mother in Sugibane is called Agnes. The main protagonist of The New Wilderness is called Agnes, and the main protagonist of Hamnet is called Agnes. I don't know what happened, but in the last like 2 weeks I have read 3 books with the protagonist Agnes. So that is a bit, I don't know, it's a bit annoying, but it's not the book's fault, of course. But yeah, other than that, Sugibane is about, Sugibane is a child, and his mother is an alcoholic, so it deals with the relationship between the two of them, taking into account the mother's problem. About what I'm going to be reading next week, I have to finish Catch and Kill and Sugibane, and then I also want to read Everything Under by Daisy Johnson. This is also from the library and it's due soon, so I want to read it soon. I am not sure what this is about exactly, but I think it's about something to do with nature and female sexuality. But yeah, I might be wrong. We'll see when I read it. And the other thing I will be reading next week for sure, it's How Much of This Hills Is Called by Pam Zhang. And that one is also in the long list for the Booker Prize, and it's the one that the book club is it's reading next week, so I'll be reading that one for sure next week. But yeah, that was all for me. I hope you enjoyed, and if you want to know more about the books I didn't talk in depth about, I'll leave the reviews down in the description, and also to Kiran, who is awesome, and you should all go follow. And let me know what have you been reading this past week, and let's have a chat in the comments. Bye.